Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
In a certain kingdom, on a late autumn afternoon, sunlight filtered through the trees. There was a girl from the Sergeyev family. Her name was Lilian Sergeyev. She had just turned 20 last month. While she was playing with her younger sister up in a tree, both of them fell to the ground. After hitting her head, she was unconscious for a while. When she woke up, she suddenly remembered her past life. In my past life, I was Shin Yuna. In my past life, I lost my parents at a young age. That kid's too cold. It's hard to feel any affection toward her. I wish she'd give me some of my parents' insurance money too. I spent an unfortunate childhood, disliked by my aunt and cousins. Both my aunt and cousins bullied me. My life was a living hell sharing a house with those two. This guy is in trouble, not only ugly but also stupid. After enduring all this, I finally became independent as soon as I became an adult and used my inheritance from my parents. One day, I decided to leave, freeing myself from that life. I bet everything on my future when I left those two behind. They had used up most of it, but at least there was something left. And so, I confidently entered a prestigious university and graduated at the top of my class in mechanical engineering. Finally, I could earn a living without relying on anyone else. I thought the path ahead was full of success, but I was spectacularly rejected from the major company I had confidently applied to. Rejected? How could they reject someone as talented as me? To make matters worse, I heard that a well-off classmate had secured the position through her parents' connections. Wow, I'm so jealous. Oh, I was just lucky. Didn't she just play around when we did group projects together? That's how I got a real taste of defeat from my very first step into society. I drank all night to cheer myself up. I got so angry that I drank more than usual. But life didn't go as I wanted it to. Oh, whatever. Isn't there more than one company out there? Oh, it's their loss for choosing a villain like that over a talent like me. They say that when it rains, it pours. Let's start over with preparing my personal CV again. Unfortunately, that day, I was hit by a truck that veered onto the sidewalk. I ended up heading straight down the path to the afterlife instead of the road to success. That was a summary of my past life. Now, in this new body, I can remember my entire previous life. Wow, I really died in vain. I wonder who attended my funeral? No, I died anyway, so there's no need to worry about it. The real issue now is, this body I've possessed belongs to a member of the Sergeyev family. It's strange. Even though this was the place I'd lived all along before my memories as Shin Yuna returned, it now feels chillingly unfamiliar. This place is actually from the hardcore, tragic romance simulation game I used to play. Thank goodness, I've been born into the powerful and wealthy Sergeyev family, the most influential in the region at that time. This is the household of the female lead from the Demon King's Companion. A hardcore, tragic romance simulation. It sounds like a bizarre combination, like mint chocolate and kimchi stew. But honestly, compared to the trials I've faced, genres like these are nothing to worry about, because the female lead in this game is none other than the one I'm so eager to devour, Lilian. Are you okay? Are you feeling unwell again? This is my half-sister, her name is Eloise. The Demon King's Companion. This was the most terrifying game of that era. A game where the main storyline revolves around a female lead kidnapped by the Emperor trying to escape the Imperial Palace. She was notorious for always ending up imprisoned by the Emperor, no matter how hard she tried to escape. In addition, there were dragons, ogres, snow wolves, etc. It's set in an apocalyptic world where monsters rule. The reason it's rated 19+ isn't just due to the romantic scenes between characters, but also because the game itself was simply brutal. So what role did I, Lilian Sergeyev, play in this cruel game? I was none other than the half-sister who tormented the female lead and ended up dying at the hands of the male lead. The main villainess. The villainess, Lilian, was also a brilliant magical engineer. so her cruelty in tormenting the female lead even involved creating machines, which left all the players shocked. Wait a minute. So, can't I just stop tormenting my sister now? The answer is no. Unfortunately, Lillian can only extract magical power from magic stones. She is the only human in this world capable of directly generating magical power within her body from magic stones. The more magical power she used, the more life force she lost. She literally had a time limit. Let it burst, life force. In other words, regardless of what I do, I'm bound to die. What kind of life is this? As she was lost in thought, the treatment was finished. At this moment, she was brought into the room by her family and treated after falling from the tree. What she remembered just now was after she regained consciousness. Her younger sister entered, saw she was awake, and called out, "Lillian, you're finally back to your senses. Thank God. Oh, thanks a lot." She hugged her younger sister, thinking, what a silly sister. She thought back to the times she had bullied her younger sister. What's there to be grateful about, your little sister who fell down while climbing a tree just to splash cold water on you? And not to mention, I kept pulling her hair and tripping her all the time. One day, I even let a mouse loose in her room. Eloise said, "I was so worried, thinking something had happened to Lillian. I'm really glad you woke up, Lillian." When she hugged her sister, she felt the warmth from her sister's body and thought, her body is so hot. She must be in pain but still took care of me. I can't believe I hated such a kind sister for just that reason. The esteemed Sargaineb dukedom is known as the Empire's greatest swordsman family, led by a father as powerful as a monster but with a twisted personality, and brothers who are just as formidable. I had to fight for my life in a battle for succession as head of the household, while my sister was excluded due to her weak body. Why does everyone only pay attention to her? Along with feelings of injustice, I felt an urge to bully her, as if something was pushing me to do so. Could it be because I've possessed the villainess from the story? Maybe I have to follow the plot of the original game. What am I supposed to do now? Blah. Thinking about all the times I bullied my loving sister made me feel regret, and I started to cry. This made my sister ask, "Lillian, what's wrong all of a sudden? Are you still in a lot of pain?" My sister, who is like an angel, still worries about me, no matter how much I torment her. Thanks to those twisted developers, she's going to be locked up by a crazy psycho. Moreover, I'm a human magic stone, meaning my magical power is being drained, and I have a limited lifespan. Lillian, should I call a doctor? We're all as good as dead now, sister. What should we do? No, wait a minute. I just need to not let it happen that way. I can endure not using magic, right? Right? I'll protect my mana life force, save up some secret funds, and we'll escape together to a warm and peaceful southern country. Especially from the male lead, that crazy psycho who locks people up. I won't even let him meet my sister's shadow. Okay, let's give it a try. That's how I made up my mind last night. The next morning, my father called me to the living room, where he stood waiting at the door, carrying a child over his shoulder. I was surprised, unsure what he had in store for me. My father, who had been away hunting monsters, had suddenly returned. What a coincidence. Lillian Sargaineb, this is a gift. With an unidentified gift. A gift? This is a person. They say you still play with dolls at your age. But this is not a doll, is it? Now, you can throw away the mechanical devices that commoners play with. What's wrong with my mechanical devices? Magic engineering is still a blue ocean in this world. The Sargaineb dukedom was always tense due to the competition for the head of the household, which pushed Lillian aside, leaving her alone in the mansion. Magic engineering became her way to cope during those times. I didn't even know that in my past life, I was also into mechanical engineering. If they really didn't like me playing with machines, wouldn't it be more typical to gift me something like a magical doll that noble kids play with? Who gives a living person as a gift? Moreover, He's saying this as if he brought back a teddy bear from his trip. He said it so casually. Lillian's imagination. Daughter, I brought you a gift. Ugh, that's so creepy. He put the boy down. He seemed to be around my age and had probably lived outside for a while. His clothes looked like a commoner's. By the way, that doll, no, that child, with his dazzling golden eyes and glossy black hair. It's a rare hair color here, and he really is beautiful like a doll. Huh, wait a minute, golden eyes and black hair? I realized something was off here. He looks like a character from the story I read. Hey you, what's your name? My father said, answer her question. I don't have a surname, just Eden. I knew it. Eden Vanchahoff, the male lead of the Demon King's companion, the crazy psycho emperor who locks people up. Why on earth is he here? In the previous episode, Lillian Sarganeff met Eden Vanchahoff, the future successor to the Demon King. Let's continue the story from here. Eden Vanchahoff, the Empress's illegitimate child, abandoned at birth. A truly tragic character who couldn't even die, somehow surviving and roaming the slums. He's the male lead who later becomes the Demon King in the Demon King's companion. If he wandered as a child, it had to be in the slums of the Sarganev territory. Even in this doomed world, the Sarganev territory, near monster-infested areas, is highly dangerous. It's the perfect setting for the depraved developers to drop the young male lead into. But still, damn it, there was never any mention of the main characters meeting this young. Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, some of my sister's lines in the original game, the Emperor burned our hometown. Now we have nowhere to return to, Lillian. Was that a line? What if his reason for destroying the territory wasn't just an obsession, but a grudge from his childhood? Thinking about the disasters that might occur with Eden's presence, I asked my father to send him away from our territory immediately, which left my father puzzled. I gave reasons like, I'm grown up now. I'm too old to play with dolls. What if we return this doll to where he belongs? Please, let's return him to where he came from. My father responded, does that mean you're gonna refuse my gift? Yes. Well, my room is full, so there's no space. He said, that thing already belongs to you. If you want to get rid of him, you have to do it yourself. Get rid of him. People aren't objects, you know. And the disposal father mentioned, he's telling me to throw him into a forest filled with monsters. Although Eden will be the crazy emperor who imprisons my sister, he's also the future hero who will save the world. If he dies meaninglessly here, this world will fall with him. That cannot happen. It seems you still need your father's help even to throw away trash. After thinking it over, I realized disposing of Eden was not an option. But then my father said, give him to me, as if to handle it himself. I quickly said, that's not it. If it's come to this, I have no choice. Thank you, father. I'll take care of him. I whispered into his ear, giving his cheek a light pinch. Hello, doll. My name is Lillian. Eden looked annoyed. Just hang in there a little longer, Eden. Sorry, this kid is scary. My father said a doll should call its owner master. I asked him not to do that, but Eden followed my father's order reluctantly. I can see it. I can see my name in his death note. First, let's get out of here. Hey doll, shall we play house? Father, is that okay? After that, I'll apologize or let him go. My father said, do as you please. Phew. Thank goodness. You! Why did you get caught by my father of all people? You should have avoided him. Seriously. What nonsense are you talking about? You were the one who wanted to play house with me. He looked at me like a cat ready to scratch. Are you going to break my arms like pulling wings off a dragonfly? Or plan to hang me upside down and watch monsters get me? He didn't seem to trust me and was testing my response. What? What does he think I am? Hey, I'm not going to play with you. I was just pretending to appease father. Listen, I'm going to get you out of this castle. I was just accepting him for now to find a chance to set him free later. It was all a pretense in front of my father. He said, "So you're going to throw me away after all?" I never expected to stay in this place for long. The whims of these noble bastards. His words made it hard to understand his intentions. What exactly is he trying to say? Wait, who said anything about carelessly throwing you out? Don't worry, I'll help you escape to a safe place. He said, a safe place? Where the hell is that? Wait, not the slums, not this castle, somewhere you won't be chased by monsters. It seems he doesn't believe me at all. The inner part of the empire isn't as chaotic as this border area. If you go inland, like the capital, you can live in peace. This castle may look glamorous outside, but it's filled with evil and crazy people. Just like father, my brothers are as strong as monsters and have twisted personalities. If this pretty doll boy gets caught by my father or our family, they'll definitely tear him apart, chew him up, and spit him out into the forest. He needs to escape this place before that happens, but I've never been outside the territory. What are you doing wandering around like this? As I was explaining to Eden, my older sister arrived and said, "You need to get some rest. You've just woken up." Older sister. No way. I remember in the original story that my sister and Eden should never meet. It would be fated. If the two of them meet like this, let's go back to your bedroom together. Eden will fall for my sister the moment he sees her, and that moment will mark the beginning of the obsession and imprisonment ending. If that's the case, don't come near me. What are you doing? Let go. At that moment, I shielded Eden to keep the two from meeting. I wanted to take Eden away immediately to stop this from happening. I'm going to prevent Eden from meeting my sister. My older sister said, "Oh, who's this child I've never seen before, and why are you holding him like that?" But my sister still wanted to know who Eden was, making it hard to explain. This guy will imprison you in the not-so-distant future, and a total piece of trash that won't even let you see the sunlight. But I can't say that. So I had to lie to my sister. This boy is my doll. My older sister said, "What, a doll? But he's a person, isn't he?" Yes, he's a person. How could such a sensible daughter like my sister have been born from our father? As I held on to Eden, he got angry and struggled to get free. This is a miracle. My older sister said, "If he's Lillian's friend, I'd like to introduce myself to him too. Can I say hi for a moment?" "No, this is a doll that father specifically gave me." "Gah, she's too close. If she sees his face, it'll be a disaster." "He's mine. My doll. Are you trying to take Lillian's belongings again? He's mine. I'm the only one who can play with him. Please, go back, sister." My older sister didn't understand what was going on between us and thought it might be true. The wickedness and stubbornness I've practiced for 12 years came as naturally as breathing when needed. It's a bit embarrassing, but I'm sorry, sister. This is all for you. I'm going to my room. I'll play house with the doll. Just the two of us. Don't follow me. After saying this, I dragged Eden away quickly, leaving her stunned. As soon as we returned to my room, Eden backed away from me while I panted for breath. Eden said, "What are you doing? You said you weren't going to play with me, but were you just planning to drag me around like this?" "I'm sorry. There were some circumstances that led to this. I had no choice for the sake of my sister and my future." Anyway, Eden, angry, said, "Don't touch me again." "I didn't touch you because I wanted to. Anyway, until I find a way to get you out of here, you absolutely cannot leave this room. If you catch the attention of my brothers, it'll be even worse. You've made quite a fuss today already." Just then, there was a knock at the door and a tall woman called my name. She asked about the boy, and the room fell unnaturally silent. Her name is Olga, head maid of the Sergeyev Duchy's household. In the previous episode, as soon as Lillian and Eden returned to her private room, Olga suddenly entered. Let's continue the story from here. "Miss Lillian, you've made quite a fuss today, as well." Head maid of the Sergeyev household, Olga. This person is Olga, the head maid. You're already bringing a man into your room? Ha, what else would you expect from the daughter of a criminal? This is a friend that father gave me as a gift. A friend? Does the young lady even know how to make friends? You must be so eager that you can't even bear to bully your only sister. Olga, this woman has always been like this. Thinking about my past life, it's ridiculous. It's so childish to treat a little girl like this. Oh, you said you received him as a gift, right? As expected, you're just like the daughter of a criminal who was alone until death. She always throws around criminal woman, daughter of a criminal, with every statement. It's so tiresome. But still, there's a reason why Olga, the head maid, looks down on my mother, who was once the mistress of the house. My mother was originally from the imperial palace. When she married into this family, she brought her own maids from the palace. Among them was Olga, who is now the head maid. It was a barren northern land with no one to rely on, but perhaps because of the help from the maids who came with her, the first few years were without problems. But tragedy suddenly struck one day. In this desolate place, with a duke who showed no interest in her, they said my mother lost her mind. After that, for some reason, she tried to harm all the maids she had brought with her, but failed. In the end, it said that she despaired of life and took her own life. Although it was an attempt that ended in failure, the maids who had been betrayed by their mistress began to direct their anger towards me, her daughter, because they lost their positions. You've made quite a mess of your food today, just like a piglet. Like mother, like daughter, I suppose. You should be punished for that, right? Now go ahead and lift your skirt. No matter how much they're angry with me or how much they hurt me, it's all because they care about me. Now that my mother is gone, the only ones I can rely on are Olga and the maids. I miss you, Mom. Remember this, Lillian. Don't trust anyone in this household, not even your father or your brothers. Everyone except me and my maids is untrustworthy. Do you understand? Eloise is deceitful. We're the only ones who truly care about you. While she was alive, Mother whispered to me every night about how indifferent Father was, never showing his face, and how the people in the castle only cared for my sickly sister. Every time I was hurt by their ignorance towards me, I recalled my mother's words. Those people are not on my side anyway. I don't need their affection. The only ones who truly care for me are the maids. That's why we like this. Discipline you. Now that the lady is no longer here, we are the only ones who think of you, young lady. This is all for your sake, young lady. If even the maids are gone, I'm so pissed. When I think back to my past life, these people were total gaslighting experts. As I was thinking, Olga said, "What are you glaring at me for? That's unlike you. By the way, I hear you were indulging again today." What? No matter how indifferent my father is, I can't believe she would say something like this to me. Your vulgar hobbies. If Olga is talking about hobbies, no way. She destroyed my mechanical toys. I ran quickly to my desk and saw they were already broken. All the mechanical parts that filled my desk. They're all gone. I told you not to touch my desk. She said there were some creepy things in the ladies' room, so as your maids, it's only natural for us to clean up. I can remake the other parts, but I can't do that with Rothy. I need to find it again. The trash bin. Thank goodness. It hasn't been completely discarded yet. I'm glad I found it before it was thrown away. Rothy. Rothy isn't just a simple machine, it's something I made with love. If I configure the circuit properly and inject power, while I'm bound to this castle, it can freely soar through the skies. It can become a precious entity that will serve as my eyes and ears. How dare she touch this? I told you not to lay a hand on Rothy. Olga said, "How dare you raise your voice at an adult over such a cheap toy? I guess I'll have to correct your bad habits again today." As she spoke, she held a whip in her hand, ready to punish me. The gaslighting I experienced as a child is truly terrifying. Even though I'm no longer a child, I still find myself shrinking back. How could I have thought of her as a person to replace my mother? Olga said, "Now, kneel down. I can't let this continue. I'm not the same person I was before. That's right, no matter how bad my reputation is, I am a young lady of Sergenev." Olga said, "What? Excuse me. What did you just say? Why should I kneel to you? There's only one reason you've been able to torment me all this time. You're a maid, and I'm a noble lady. So it's not I who should kneel, but you, Olga, because I've allowed you to do this all this time. Now that I think about it, what they've done to me all this time wasn't discipline, but abuse. I guess I clung to that idea because I was scared to admit it. That means acknowledging that I am all alone in this world. But the person I am now, with Shinyuna's memories, is different. Life is meant to be lived alone anyway. Today, I have to be strong and not let her oppress me like before." Olga thought, why is she acting like that today? Did she go crazy like her mother? No, it's a bit strange, but maybe if I try to be a little more harsh, she'll beg like usual. Olga said, "Miss, have you gone mad? She's huge. She's bigger than most men. Get a hold of yourself. If you back down here, it's over." While the two of them were talking, Eden, still clueless about what was going on, could only stand back and watch from a distance. "Are you refusing to listen to me, a lady of the house? I'll tell father everything about this." Olga said, "You're going to tell the head of the family?" As if he would listen. Just imagine his noble daughter, born of the Sergenev bloodline, unable to even wield a sword properly. I used to think that way too. But now, it's different. Olga, how can you be so sure of that? Can't you see this? I pointed towards Eden, who jumped, realizing he had just been dragged into the conversation between us. He might be a bit shabby, but have you ever seen such a pretty boy? My father gifted him to me. Eden whispered to me, "What are you doing? Just cooperate for a moment. That way I can help you. Don't you want to escape? Right. I have to live for you to live too, okay?" Eden seemed to go along with me, understanding that we had to finish this act. Olga said, "What does that even mean? Being pretty is a precious thing, right? My father brought this beautiful boy for me. Do you still think my father isn't interested in me? Now, look closely, Olga. The face of a male lead who's been extraordinary from the very start. This might just fool Olga. Of course, my father giving Eden to me is purely out of whim, but does the truth matter? Let's compete with lies and fabrication." Olga said, "You've become quite bold after a few days, huh? Seeing you grow like this truly makes Olga happy then. I suppose you won't need this ridiculous toy anymore." With that, Olga pulled a heart-shaped mechanical object out of her pocket. The heart circuit. It's still incomplete, but it's the most essential part of Rothi.